What's going on, everybody?
Been a little bit. Hope everyone's doing good. Um, you know, I just want to talk about this because I've been seeing um, these things kind of pop up about the trade. I've had a few people ask me about it, and I figured I would just make a little video on it and talk about my experience and what to expect and what the good, the bad, and so yeah, I'll just get right into it. So I am a pipe fitter with the local 102 here in Knoxville, Tennessee. And you know, people people have been asking like, is it worth it? Is it good? Is it bad? So I'll just go ahead and lay it down. So I originally went to school for nursing way back in the day when I was like 18, 19, maybe. I don't know. It's been a long time. I got my CNA, and I realized like that one semester cost me $9,000, right? And I was going to a community college in Colorado, so it was pricey, right? So that was already like no, and that wasn't. I kind of realized it's not really what I wanted to do. So I quit that, and then through the years, messed around, got some trouble. Um, just live life. I didn't have the most wealthiest upbringing, so it's been kind of like a struggle bus for a long time. So I got into cooking for many years, which I actually achieved a pretty decent career out of that. But it's just kind of draining. After years of it, I became executive chef, been sous chef, all that, worked my way up, and after a while, it's just like I missed out on a lot of my child's life. I was working 6, 7 days a week, 10, 12, 14-hour days. So I was like, this isn't living. Even with the amount of money I was making, it just wasn't worth it. So when I moved here to Tennessee, I went and got in a trade school, which I will say, going to a trade school, it was good in the sense of I got to get a lot of practice in. Um, I got to learn firsthand, especially from a guy that's in his 30s, not knowing a thing about this and getting right into a completely different field. It was a good thing to learn, basic stuff. But if I could have gone back, um, I would have just joined straight directly onto the union, just for the simple fact that one, they train you, and while you're working, so those are two pros right there. But I mean, mind you, my trade school, I think was only like $5,000 total. So and I already have that paid off. So that compared to learning a skill in a trade compared to like a college degree, I mean, again, I'm not the one for it. What I do see online a lot, and from people I've talked to, is a lot of people are going to college and they're getting these ridiculous degrees that cost ridiculous money, and most of them can't work. I know 10, 15 years ago, everyone's like, oh, get into IT, IT's where it's at, get into marketing. But now we're seeing AI taking their jobs. Now we're seeing people with these degrees and they can't do anything with them. Um, so that in itself is, I mean, I'm thankful I didn't go down that because I was also considering that. But I'm glad I didn't, because a lot of people owe $100,000 plus on a degree they can't even use, and that's got to be devastating. Because at least through my whole life, I don't know if it's just because I got that dog in me or what, but I've never been to a point where I haven't been making money. But I also think that I'm not better than any job. So I would take any job, if it meant putting food on the table for my kids. For me, I always have that instinct to survive. I don't have a financial backing. My parents aren't rich. I was raised by a single mom. My dad died when I was real young. We grew up pretty poor. So, I never had that backing. I left the house when I was real young. not really by choice, but it is what it is. So I've always been able to make it, whether it was doing illegal stuff back when I was younger to realizing that's not the path you want to go on, and cooking and doing whatever crappy, shitty job you can just to get by, right? So, with that being said, I don't know how a lot of these people are doing it. They got these brand new cars. They got all this unnecessary keeping up with the Joneses life, and that is a big issue that I see now. Hey, I've had my car for 9 years now. It's nothing special. I love it. It's a '08 Honda Civic. I'm 6'1", so it's a small little car for me, but it's paid off. I always live within my means. Even when I was making really good money, I always thought like this could end tomorrow. So save my money. Don't buy an expensive car, buy an expensive house, or buy anything like that. Because I was 34, 35, 34, or 33 when I bought my house, which this is where I'm sitting in now. My very first house. I definitely overpaid for it, but it was 2024, so what exactly can you do? Nothing's affordable anymore, so. Um, but again, it's a nice little house. Definitely big enough for me and my family. And I'm thankful that I've never had that mentality of, oh, I need a nice new car with $1,000 car payment, or I need this or I need that. You know, I've always lived comfortably in my means, below my means for the most part. This is the most financially kind of tight I've been, but I have a house now. I have a mortgage. Things break in the house, and I don't have the money to fix it. So I started learning, YouTubing, meeting all the people around me. They taught me how to do things. And I'm very thankful for trades because, I'm a welder, but along my field, I have to got, that makes sense. I've gotten a chance to be able to meet a lot of people. So every job site, I learned something new. You got welders, you got fitters, you got linemen, you got steel workers, you got electricians. And I'm always down to learn. And with the trades, I've always been able to learn something new. I get to meet people. And a lot of times these guys are just like, hey, just show me. Like, hey, buy me a case of beer, man. I'll come over and I'll show you. And it's been fantastic. So, um, going back to what I was talking about, if you're thinking about going to a trade school or just join straight on the union, me personally, I would just join straight into the union. Going to trade school and working for 3 years outside of actually getting into the union, because I'm just freshly into the pipe fitters. I was shooting to be a bowl maker, but the bowl maker out here, um, I don't know, there's just something about it I wasn't feeling, and plus boilers are kind of like a dying thing. So I'm glad I avoided that. Not throwing any shade towards any bowl makers. There's some badass welders out there. But that just wasn't. It wasn't what I was interested in. Plus, the closest hall is like 2 hours away, so that was a big pain in itself. But with all that, when I got in, I'm a fourth year apprentice right now. I'm still waiting to get on my first job with the union, and I've been working non-union. And I'll tell you now, my non-union work, it doesn't pay worth anything now. $20 is the new minimum wage. Realistically, like you could candy coat it all you want, but making $20 an hour is nothing. I only make a few dollars more than that, and I'm able to pay my bills, but that's it. I'm not able to build up savings. I'm not able to build anything. And mind you, all I really have is my mortgage, phone bill, internet, basic things. I don't have a car payment. I don't have anything like that. My wife does, and she's almost done with her car payment, and she definitely regrets getting a car instead of just buying it outright. But that was before we got together. Um, so jumping up, this job that I'm going to be taking here soon, it's almost double my pay. So from that little bit, and even first years, at least in my local area, they're making 25, 26 an hour, with no experience. And that is a nice jump. Not only that, you got 401k, you got insurance, I mean, you got pensions, retirement. You have stuff that a lot of people won't have working non-union. I mean, mind you, there are companies out there like that, but in the region where I live in, there's not real much like that. Your typical welder's getting paid anywhere from 16 to like 23, and that's topping out. As a journeyman, depending on the contract, we're topping out at like 50 to 56 an hour, and that's good money because working out here, cost of living isn't bad. We don't have any state tax, anything like that. There's a lot of things you got to consider. I mean, mind you, if I was out in California or Washington or Oregon, you're getting paid a lot more, but they're also taking a lot more out of your check. Cost of living is through the roof out there. So these are all things you got to consider, just because 50 bucks an hour might sound not good to someone living in New York, Jersey, California, something like that. But again, it's like I'm bringing home a lot more money. So, um, I don't know if people are out there trying to decide, oh my God, well, I'm this old. It's never too late. I started welding when I was like 31. And I'm 35 now, about to be 36 here. Um, and it's just not too late at all to join the trades. And if I were you and I was thinking about it, I mean, if you're in high school trying to get right out of it, I personally would just go straight to a union and get enrolled in an apprenticeship program. I mean, what do you have to lose? You learn while you're working. There's other parts of America that are just constantly working, and I mean, you could travel too. That's not just a permanent thing. You could travel. I could go up to Georgia, Alabama, all these neighboring states around it, and I could start working right away. But as of right now, I just want to be home every day, and that's my own personal choice. But if you want to travel, you get to go see it. I've lived all over this country, every region I've lived in, and I would say if you haven't, get out of your hometown. Go see the world a little bit. I mean, you meet people, you network, and then that will bring even more possibilities. Hone in on your skill, because I don't know about other trades, but as a welder, we have to prove our worth and our skill every single time because only way to get jobs is the test down. And if you just slack and you don't put in any effort, you won't ever get a job. And if you do complete garbage on that job, you're not going to get called back. So I know a lot of people have good work ethic, especially in blue collar. Like I said, I've worked in a few different fields, and I mean, I can't tell you how many times people have called out of work when I was cooking just constantly. I mean, we were barely making money, and I'm like, how can you afford this? you know. But someone like me, I show up early, I stay late, I work all the overtime I could get, and these are really good things because I know many, many friends out here that are in the same union, local 102 pipe fitters, and they're bringing in 100K plus a year, but they're getting it, and then you could get the contracts where, if you're more than like 40 miles, you get per diem. They're paying you on top of going to work. Most of these cats are getting $100 just to show up to work before they even clock in every day. And it's amazing. Trades have a really big opportunity because it is kind of a lot of the old timers are retiring, dying off, stuff like that. So, people need it because everyone wants to sit in a nice air conditioned room when it's hot out, making all this money, but those jobs are dying and they're being replaced. They're realizing that an AI could take your job, you know, hands down. They could do it in a heartbeat. And then all these people I see get a job making 150 a year writing emails all day, going out living in a crazy ridiculous apartment or a house and buying a car they can't afford and buying all this crap they don't need that they think that they could afford, and all of a sudden you lose your job and you lose your entire life, man. I've had to restart several times. So you gotta live within your means for one. Two, maybe that's just me growing up poor. I try to hold on to my money because I don't know what's gonna happen. Um, once I met my wife, she was doing very good too. So collectively, we were doing really good together, you know. And then COVID hit, and then everything went downhill. And then that's when we started this little journey of moving. You know, I've lived a lot of places, and you know, we moved up to Oregon during COVID. That was the worst decision we ever made. You know, the Pacific Northwest is beautiful, but not during COVID. You know, it's a different world. But if I was a welder out in Oregon, I'd be making crazy amount of money. You know, so, and that's the good thing about the trades. Once you get in, especially once you hit journeyman, you can go anywhere. As an apprentice, I don't know about with other people's locals, but as an apprentice myself, I like I could transfer. I just got to put in paperwork. Hey man, I want to move up to Chicago, for instance, and they're like, okay. Chances of them saying no are very slim. So that is good. That is really good for you know all of us. You know, so if you get a trade, doesn't matter which one it is. All trades have been good. Again, I can only speak on being a welder because that's what I am. But my um, I know people that are electricians, linemen. You know, they make great money. You know, but it's always a sacrifice you got to make. Sometimes you have to travel. You know, I know this guy down the road. He traveled for 6, 7 months, and when he got back though, he built his family a beautiful house. You know, and those are the possibilities you can make. So if you're a young man or someone that's single that doesn't really have any connections or kids yet or married, you know, and you're thinking about this, get into a union, get into it, you know, fucking keep your nose to the grindstone, get your time in, get as many papers as you can, and then go out and make that money, man. Because you go anywhere, you know, America is a very big place, and there's a lot of opportunity. You'll meet great people, you'll meet shitty people, but I feel like if you're getting into it, I mean, keep going. You're gonna have bad days. You're gonna have good days. Be prepared to be hot. You know what I mean? You're gonna be sweating on in the summer. You're gonna be freezing in the winter. Every work situation is different. You know, seems like everything we're gonna be doing as my current job, we're gonna be inside, which is gonna be nice until summer comes. You know, if anyone knows the South, it is hot and humid. But man, I'll be wiping those tears away with all those hundreds. You know. But I don't know. I've seen some videos, and I just wanted to speak up on it. Join a trade. It'll be worth it. It's never too late. Don't tell yourself, oh, you're too old, you're too young. Get into it, man. I mean, we all deserve to have a good life. And especially with our current presidency, projects are popping up left and right. You know, we're trying to make America very efficient, self-sufficient, and that I think is going to help us a long way. The trades are coming back in a big way, and I think y'all need to get on it. You know, but it's not for the weak-hearted. You know, you can't have soft hands doing this. You can't be complaining and crying because this is unforgiving work. You know, and people say, oh well, is your body worth a paycheck? No matter what you do, if you sat in a cubicle all day, it's killing your soul for one. What, sitting down in a chair, not doing anything, just snacking, getting fat, that's not helping either. You know, in a great world, we'll all do exactly what we want to do, and we'll have our dream job, and everything will be good. But that's not reality, unfortunately. We can make it a reality, and that's where I'm trying to get to right now. That's the goal I'm trying to get to. So hopefully y'all can get there too. Just a little bit of word of wisdom. I'm sorry this is kind of a long video, but get some trades. Let me know what trades you guys are in. If you're looking into it, hit me up. I'm pretty responsive, so if y'all have any questions, just let me know. And I hope everybody has a wonderful day. Besides that, man, just keep working, build that future. All right, later, y'all.